When you grow in size in an organization, do you have to change the principles of combat leadership from extreme ownership or adopt new ones?
No.
Oh wait, I asked this kind of weird in a
You
weird
asked
tone.
it a little bit tone.
Do you have to do either of these? Right, that's kind of the question. Do you have to change the principles or adopt new ones? Do you have to do that?
No. The answer is no. As a matter of fact, when your organization gets bigger, the only change you have to make is to get better at the laws of combat. That's what you have to do. So as you grow, you have to work harder to build relationships with other divisions so that you can cover and move for each other, right? That's a given. You have to get better at keeping things simple because the message has to be spread to more people, so word has to be spread that is simple, clear, and concise. That makes sense. You have to learn how to prioritize and execute better because there's a larger group of people that have to shift their focus on whatever priorities coming out. You have a bigger ship to turn. And you have to do this accurately and quickly, and there's less room for error in shifting priorities when you have a bigger organization. And of course, for decentralized command, you have to get better at that because in a small organization, it's pretty easy, right? You don't really have to do in decentralized command. If you've got 5 people working for you, you can actually just control them. Mm-hmm. You don't really have to use decentralized command. It's a place to begin it and instill that culture, but you can get away without it because you can actually watch everyone. You can direct everyone. You can influence everyone, and you can actually lead them directly when you're in a small organization. So you don't have to be all that great at decentralized command. But as you get bigger, you just can't do that anymore. So the only way to watch everyone and direct everyone and influence everyone and lead everyone, the only way to do that is through your subordinate leadership, is through decentralized command. So you have to be better at that. Now, I will say that the one thing that you maybe have to adjust, it's not really a principle, but you are going to have to look at your communication methods. You're going to have to look at your communication methods. You just aren't going to be able to meet with everyone face to face anymore. You won't have time. When your organization gets big enough, you won't. There'll be employees there and subordinate leaders that you'll never see. Maybe some that you've never been on a call with. So how do you get the message? How do you get the mission all the way through the organization? We have to do it with decentralized command, but how do you communicate it? And my thing is always like you have to communicate in every available method. And the bigger you get, the larger your organization is. You got to take advantage of everything. You got to take advantage of calls, of emails, of meetings, of physical documents that you put out and say, hey, everyone read this, and you make videos. I'm making that recommendation a lot now to larger organizations that I work with is why don't I'll ask them, how often are you having an all hands type meeting? Well, it's really hard because you can't really get face to face with everyone because we've got not only multiple different areas, but we got multiple different time zones. So if we want, you got someone on the other side of the ocean, hey, we want to have a meeting at a reasonable time. It's impossible to have everyone at a reasonable time. So what do? Okay, eventually it's okay. Well, why don't you make videos? Make a 4-minute video that everyone can see and understand and see where the vision's going. So every different communication methods that you can hit all the different types of people, because there's some people that like to read emails. There's some people that won't watch a video, but they'll read an email. They'll read a document. There's some people that will not sit in a conference call, but they'll go through the notes that get sent out, abridged notes. So there's all kinds of ways to communicate, and my advice is to use them all. But the fundamental principles of leadership itself don't change. So don't just stick to them. Actually get better and pay more attention to them. Check.
Decentralized command. That seems like the one. But actually, now that you kind of explain it, they all seem pretty important.
Well, they are all important, it's interesting. They're actually in order.
What?
They're actually in order.
It?
Well, they're in order the way we wrote them in the book, the way I originally talked about them.
Yeah,
it was like number 1, cover and move. If you're not doing that, it's teamwork. If you're not doing that, you're not going to do anything. Yeah. Number 2 is you got to keep things simple. Like you have to do that because you can't cover and move for someone else if you don't even understand what's going on. Right? So it's got to be simple. Mm-hmm. And then prioritize and execute. Well, there's going to be things that are changed and things that are dynamic. And so the next thing you got to worry about is like when things change, how are you going to prioritize what's changing, how are you going to handle these problems? But then the last one is decentralized command, which is now that you've got those other 4 kind of stable, now you can start really leading properly.
Gotcha.
But to your credit, if you flip those upside down, in order of sort of broad organizational importance, decentralized command is the most important one. Now, you're not going to have it without the other 3.
Yeah.
Prioritize and execute is the next important one from an organizational perspective. Keeping things simple is then the next one. And so if you flip them upside down as an organization, the level of importance inside the organization is reversed, but the way that you have to implement them, the bottom line is you'll never get to decentralized command if you can't keep things simple. You don't come, so you can't get there. But in order to build them, you have to kind of use them in order. But then when you look at them from the importance of how well they make a team function,
right? Yeah.
Again, if you can't cover and move it all, or you can't keep things simple, you'll never get to decentralized command. But when you have someone that's working them all and they're all doing well, then the most important one is decentralized command. Decentralized command is the one that takes you to the highest level, right? It'll have the most impact on your organization. You'll never get there without the other 3, but once you have those 3 and you implement decentralized command, you'll be that'll be the most powerful thing in your organization. You can't do it without the other 3. It's the strongest, but it doesn't matter without the other 3.
Yeah.